for like saw a refurbished one out there for like 250, 350. It was a nice little refurbished
Oh,
Apple one out there on Amazon. So so I thought I could get away with this computer malfunction. I was like, I haven't even used my computer all day. What's the likelihood it was overheating? And so I was interviewing somebody last hour and it ended up overheating like about 40 minutes into it. I was
oh
like,
no.
so unprofessional. So so we're here, we're live, the audience is here. Whoever sees this will eventually inevitably see me blabbing about my technical issues, newfound technical issues with computer equipment that I bought, with software that I purchased. It's not working for me. The worst thing is to buy something and then it doesn't work. Boy, that boils my blood. And I have to pray twice on those things. Like, Lord, protect my attitude. And you call the customer service, and the customer service like be way overseas. There be somebody you could probably easily abuse verbally.
I know. Yeah, customer service for sure. Yeah.
So, we are here. There's clear computer malfunctions. It's gonna force me to do something I don't want to do, which is spend money. But nonetheless, I was going to say, Joni, thank you for entertaining. Thank you for entertaining this conversation again. The audience, every time we do these podcasts, you never know what type of audience. I usually think that we're introducing ourselves to a newer audience every single time.
Mm-hmm.
So for the sake of that, please just introduce yourself a little bit. Who are you? And what are you currently doing?
I am Joni Woods. I am an author, a speaker, apparently podcast guest extraordinaire. I love coming on podcasts. And then I am a manager at a restaurant here in Ann Arbor, and I teach hospitality with the local community college. So
you also have a book out there. Let's put that plug in there.
I do. It's on Amazon, Burned, Blocked, and Better Than Ever.
And that book is about?
That is essentially a memoir, but it's more meant to be self-help. I just figured, the best way people make their way through life is hearing other people's stories. So I just shared my story about what life was like when I got a divorce, learning, one, making that decision, and then learning who I was, who I wanted to be, how I wanted to raise my kids during that big season, and dating during that time was a little wild.
Oh man, okay. You say still wild?
It's still wild.
Yes, I think I saw a workout. I think I saw a workout post on LinkedIn there. I said, okay, she's working out. She's getting in shape. She's talking about self-care.
Less about working, like it was like, it's not so much working out, just stretching.
Okay.
When you're in your 40s, like late, I'm 46, so we don't work out as much. Maybe, well, at least I don't, because I never worked out. But I'll stretch. You just gotta.
Okay. All right. So, nonetheless, I see you out here living self-care. There's a form of self-care. So, expressing self-care. Talk to me about the book writing process. Did you ever consider yourself a writer? Like you ever say to yourself, I'm a writer, I'm going to publish a book?
No, actually, I almost failed my English classes in high school. I was a terrible writer. I got into writing because during my marriage, we were in therapy, and she was like, you just need a journal. Well, to be fair, I started doing that in Bible college, but then my parents read my journal and used my entries against me. So then I stopped journaling, and my therapist was like, you should probably bring that back, because I get so in my head, I think, I just constantly thinking. And, some people can lock in. I can't. I have to write it all out. And then I get to through my words, figure out what it is that I'm actually trying to say, who I want to be. So, yeah, writing, especially during that divorce, was so huge for me because my ex-husband kept trying to trap me into the same arguments and the same fights. And I was like, this is why I'm getting a divorce. Like I need to continue that habit and then also learn about who I was while I was meeting new people who had their own ideas and their own judgments and their own, desires for a relationship with me. I was like, I don't, so that's the writing. That was the writing process. The book essentially is 2 years of journal entries just put together.
It was so that being said, wasn't difficult to write the book because it was just accumulation of what you had already, presented.
Yeah. So I ended up I started seeing themes like, so this was about my divorce. This was about raising kids. This was about dating. And so I started putting them all together and in like little chapters.
It's a great way to write a book.
Yeah.
Was it difficult to publish a book?
Oh, it was a process. It was a process. I did it a different route. There's so many avenues now. When I started in 2016, I met with someone I knew who published a book, and she had this whole thing. She was like, you're going to have to go through a publisher. You have to have a following. You have to do all of these. Self-publishing really wasn't a thing. And now you can self-publish a book off of Amazon in no time. And so I wanted to find the happy medium. And so I went with a self-publishing company who provided services. They did the content edit, they did copy editing, they did the layout, they did the covers, everything that I would have to pay for and find someone to do. They had someone on their team that did it. So, but it still took over a year and a half to finally see it in printed form.
When it was printed, were you ecstatic?
So excited. They send you the first copy, obviously, so you can look at it, and they want you to read it and go through it. And of course I had my kids take a video of me opening it up, and it was just there's nothing like it. It's like holding your baby for the first time. And it was launched October 7th. So it's like another birthday, just another something that's just like, wow, I got to do something that I had dreamed about doing. It's watching a dream come true.
Yeah. It's just like holding a baby. That's strong language there, Joni.
Hey, I did cry. I'll be honest. I teared up. I was like, oh, it's here.
Oh yeah, it took about a year and a half. I suppose, man. Just like you've been looking at this book for about a year and a half, 2 years. Finally, so happened.
Yeah,
longer than hold on to a baby. Baby's 9 months.
I know.
So that's that piece there as far as the book writing process. I see you out here doing TED Talks and stuff. You're out here networking. Yes.
Yes.
What are you currently promoting, or what are you currently talking about these days?
The big thing that I talk about right now is recruitment. I love building like emotionally safe spaces, emotional intelligence, self-awareness, self-reflection, accountability. Those are huge for me. And I just over the last 6 months, 8 months, I was doing recruitment at my previous job. And and in the restaurant industry that sees an 80% turnover rate and such terrible cultures, it was like, come on, we have to take care of our future workforce. And in doing that means their first jobs are usually in the restaurant industry. So I feel like it's imperative that we set the standard. We should. And so then we're training them and we're sending them out as a good workforce. Their future boss is going to thank me, and that's what I want to see. And so I talk about recruitment in the sense of being excited to hire. I love hiring. But I also am very aware that I can't, as the business person, I can't catfish these employees. Like if I'm promising a certain environment, then I sure as heck need to show up that way. and they don't do that. There are a lot of companies that they promise safe culture and psychological safety and leadership skills and all this kind of stuff, and they don't get any of that. And so I talk about that in my speaking engagements. Oh no, you burned out.
Crashed out, straight up crashed out. Can you hear me?
Crashed. I can hear you. Oh, not anymore.
Since we got 5 windows, how do I have?
Oh. I'm like, what do we do?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
That's where, man. I'm a Christian man, but I want to cuss right now. I
Mhm.
really am tempted to cuss right now. So
Oh,
anyway, this may last us here. Let's say we only got 15 minutes of talk time here. Feel like we're on
yeah.
one of those limited cell phones. Back in the days when it used to be you had to pay for minutes. Now it's like unlimited. Back in the
Yeah.
days you used to have unlimited. Back in the days you had to pay for your jingles,
Yep.
the cell phone jingles. Back when they first came out with cell phones, they try to upcharge everything. Uh,
Everything.
so I'm gonna give us about 10 minutes of talk time here with this, and then I'm gonna figure out a solution so that I don't get caught up in a whammy tomorrow. I think I have an interview. Sucks. All right. So where were we? We were talking about your current speaking engagements.
Yes.
You were talking about recruitment.
Yes.
And a big question on recruitment. I think we talked about this in the last time we talked about it, but you're involved in overall management, particularly as it relates to hospitality.
Mhm.
Um, is the saying true that you should hire slow and fire quick?
Yes. Very much.
Even with young people? Even if you're
Um,
recruiting individuals who got their first job, yeah. Let me pause on that and let you answer that.
well, for me, I think it's all how you hire. So when you set an expectation and then you do the work on the onboarding process, the training process, building that relationship with them,
Mhm,
and because they're so pliable, they want to make money, they are excited to get a paycheck, they are excited to show up to work, they will do what you tell them, so you have to invest.
mhm,
And if you come across someone, especially in the hospitality industry, where you need them to be kind and gentle and, great service to people, and serving other people really helps you figure out who you are as a person.
mhm.
Um, and if they're not in it, then they need to go. But most of the time, I have seen that they do really well. I have had to let go within a couple of shifts. I'm like, we're not getting it. And then, but I've also, and I'm proud and happy to say that if they're not getting it in the one role, there's multiple restaurant roles that I can try them out in and say, I'm not giving up on you. This isn't a reflection of who you are as a person. It's just, this is your first job. We need to figure out what fits and what doesn't. And I have been able to successfully put people in new positions and they do really well. And
Um,
then they just feel good about themselves.
with regards to that, what do you, what's is there like primary reasons why people are not a good fit, or why people get fired, particularly young people? Let's say we're speaking to the young adults in this
Mhm.
video. Let's say young adults catching wind of this and they say, "Oh, we got a person talking about recruitment of young people, and it's their first job." Well, what are some
Mhm.
of the reasons why a young person would get fired on their first job?
Because, and I've seen this, they think they know it all. They just
Mm,
do. They've been the star of such and such. They have gotten all these grades. They're super smart, they're super popular, and that's great, but that's not what the workforce is looking for. Yes, we want to see you excel, and yes, we need you to be good and successful at your job, but you have to be humble enough to take feedback. And some kids, because we have helicopter parents, because we have these situations where they've been coddled, they don't know how to take feedback as not personal, but
Mhm.
rather we want to see you be successful. And to be successful means you need to do these things. And you can tell right away the ones that are receptive to that information and the ones that are like, well, why? I can do this. I can do this job. I'm super confident about it. Cool. I'm glad you're confident about it, but you still have to do it in these boundaries, these like expectations.
Mhm.
And that will be the first reason they get fired.
What creates longevity, employment longevity in a hospitality position?
They have to, in the hospitality specifically, it has to be more than just a side hustle. And that's the problem that we
Mm.
see specifically is this is just quick money. You know, everyone says, go, oh, we'll go serve or go do this. If you want longevity and if you want that big paycheck, those big tips, it has to be more than a side hustle. You have to be dedicated to the product knowledge, the passion that these cooks bring to their food is huge. Like you are the voice of these chefs, and if you're not doing it in a way that is amplifying the experience for the guests, then you're not going to have any longevity because you won't be making money. And it all goes hand in hand. And I tell my people, I'm like, I want you to make money, but to do that, you need to know the food. You need to pair the wine. Like people go out and they spend money because they want an experience. And your goal is to provide that experience. So if you just think it's a side hustle, it's not going to work for you.
Mm. Um, on a shift to top there, I don't know that we went down this rabbit hole the last time we talked, but you know, you're operating within your career. So I guess
Mm-hmm.
one of my questions would be, um, as a female, is it hard navigating your career? What are the obstacles navigating your career being a woman?
In my particular career, I don't see a lot of obstacles in the sense of giving good hospitality. I'm a mom by nature, so like making a culture is good, easy for me. But what I have seen as I've been speaking about it is that I am perceive it feels. So I don't know for sure. Now nobody's come up to me and been like, "You don't really know what you're talking about," but it feels as though they don't understand the value in the hospitality industry translating into corporate America. And I mean, I get it. I get where they're coming from. They think that there's this vast difference, and there's really not. The skills, the leadership skills you learn when in training people, the salesmanship, everything that you learn in the hospitality industry really translates really well to corporate America. But that is where I'm seeing the friction. Just they think when they hear restaurant manager, again, they're remembering their first experience and what restaurant life was like. And it's like, wait a second, if we take some of these principles and the things that I get super passionate about and apply them to corporate America, you will find that you have better retention in your staffing and all of that. So that's been, but to be fair, I've only just recently started speaking at different places outside of the restaurant industry. So,
Okay, so where's that? Can you give me the framework that you use as far as helping individuals? What are the relatable, transferable skills that are useful in corporate just as much as they're useful in the hospitality business?
For definitely for corporate, the leadership. So, we're asking 18, 19, 20-year olds to train other 18, 19, 20-year olds. So they have to learn one to how to lead better? How do you lead teams? How do you train someone in a position that requires them to be humble when a guest is yelling at them or they don't know the product as well as they should? So there has to be, you have to train in a sense and build leadership skills when you're still just trying to figure out how to train and build leadership skills. And so once you can do that, when you go into corporate America and you start seeing, how do I keep this new employee who just came on, and I'm a manager at an insurance office or I'm a regional manager somewhere, how do you build that team? You've already done it. You've built it in a high volume, intense situation. And now you get the time in corporate America to do training packets, to do onboarding, to take your time and really sell them on the work opportunity that they're doing. So there's definitely the leadership. There's definitely how to deal with difficult people. Obviously, we all know that you, as you work or you're selling a house and you're trying to be a realtor and you're selling to people who are just so picky, like how do you maintain a relationship with this person? Because at the end of the day, you want that sale. You want to sell that house and get that big commission check. So how do you stay on it? How do you not get frustrated and let your frustration show so that this person's like, oh, well, I'm just going to go find a different realtor. You learn that in the restaurants industry because you have to sell this, you have to take care of this table for an hour and a half to 2 hours, and you have to do it with such a smile so that you get your tip. It's just a bigger tip later in life, So, I mean, I could just keep going on and on how to deal with coworkers who are trying to steal tables from you, or, they want the big tables and they can't perform good service, like how to negotiate the team building aspect, how to deal with managers who don't care about their job. There's just there's just so much to it. I love it.
Okay. With regards to what you do, what do you feel like is you talk about one of the misunderstandings is people not seeing a connection between hospitality and how there's a parallel between being good at hospitality and also the skills are transferable no matter what corporate setting you get in. What are misunderstandings or misconceptions about hospitality, the business of hospitality?
Well, I think obviously the first one is that you won't learn anything valuable. So again, that's why they look at it as just a side hustle. I know here in Ann Arbor, we're a big college town, obviously. And so we're not East Coast, New York, Chicago, where we're seeing career servers. So we are literally having to mold these students coming in. And so the misconception that what we can provide, we should be providing, if that makes sense. So it would be easy to just be like, well, we just need to find the career server here in Ann Arbor. Well, we're not going to find that. We're in a town with a bunch of students and teachers because they're there at the schools. And so just building that mentality that this industry is something better than what we've been deemed as just side work, side hustle, something you do to start to grab cash. So that's the big first misconception. But I also think the other thing that I see is, oh shoot, I lost it. The thought literally just went right out my brain. It was gone. Oh, darn.
Maybe it'll come back later. We're talking about misconceptions, the biases as it relates to hospitality, the hospitality business. And and particularly as it relates to longevity, and I tend to think the hospitality business is probably the most underappreciated, unpaid positions.
Yes.
Is that wrong for me to assume that?
No, it's not wrong. It is definitely one of the underpaid positions, but I also think it's because, you have to recognize the value you can bring in. And if you're not actively pursuing that and trying really hard, then you're going to get paid for what you show up and do, if that makes sense. And there are some, leadership who just coast and they're like, this is an easy gig. All I have to do is be on the floor. And it's like, wait a second, there's so much more we can be doing for molding our team and building a culture. And so essentially what I want to do is not only speak about it, but also go in and help transform the ideas of it within the generation. So like talking to my team about, hey, this is a great opportunity for you to upsell. I want you to make money, and I also want you to provide such good service that these guests come back. So I think that it is an underpaid position, role in life, but it is also, sometimes people coast through it. And so you have to bring value to the work.
What is a way to make money out of the industry? Like are there certain industries that you should go into as it relates to hospitality that are better to go into as it relates to the hospitality community that are going to give you more oomph for the effort?
I mean, I worked at the restaurant hotel situation, and then since I've done just restaurants, I know that it's just a bigger beast, a bigger machine, more opportunities to just kind of let the culture slide. I don't know financially if it was any bigger, because so I've done all the roles. I've been back server, I've been bartender, I've been barista, I've been a server, I've been a manager. So I've done all of them, and I know that there are some servers who make more money than me as a manager getting salaried, because they're just so good at their job. But I also so it just really depends on the person. I think it's like anything. If you're trying to build something, like, so I'm trying to build my portfolio in the efforts and what I do and how I speak and all of that. And I got to hustle. I just have to. And, I want, that's where you see the money come back.
Yeah, I think the greatest opportunity, like I got some kids that are growing and developing, and I think that the two areas that I would definitely put them in, as far as learning general principles of teamwork, conflict resolution, and customer service, because we're all in this. The one bridging gap that I see is that we're all in the service industry, like we're all out here to serve somebody, and so hospitality at its core is a fundamental aspect of how we give people whatever need they have through the form of service. So is that all general principle of delivery, of how you deliver like hospitality represents for me how you deliver a product to a client more than the product itself, right? Like I said, like I was saying, my kids, as they're developing and growing, the two industries that I would probably force them in just so that they can learn certain principles will probably be hospitality, like being a waiter, learning how to serve people with humility, which I think is a major piece. You can correct me if I'm wrong. It's like, no, we don't have to serve people with humility, Larry. But I operate from a premise point of humility, so I think it's quite okay to buy into it. Who knows? That's not to hit anybody upside the head, but in sales, like I think those are two areas that sort of teach you how to hustle to give a client what they need, and also hustle to serve a client. And at the operative word being hustle. Yeah. Do you agree with that? That there's a certain level of, like, I always want to think of great hospitality. Unfortunately, I think of all the terrible experiences that I've had. But when I think of great hospitality, I think of the person who's like the magic genie. When I call a customer service phone, and you got people who abide by the rules, and you got people who know how to break the rules in order to give you what you need. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that a thing? Because it's the magic genie concept. It's like, look, because the idea that I'm going to be your magic genie, whatever you need, I'm going to get for you, kind of ish. I'm going to figure it out. Yes. So is there such thing as breaking the rules to give a client what they need, or breaking the standard breaking standard norm of what you what you should do versus what you can do. You
Oh
get where I'm
yeah.
going with that?
Yeah. I have a career server. She's great. And she just said to me, she's like, Johnny, I don't like saying no. Like that to me is really difficult. I want to say yes. And I was like, fair, let's figure out a way for you to be able to say yes in every situation.
Mm,
And it's just, that kind of service you is hard to teach, one, unless you
mhm.
spend a lot of time going, the joy that I bring to someone when I get to say yes every time is outstanding. And I
Yeah.
think that that's probably more impactful than we'll ever really know, you know.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying though. I mean, I'm trying to wink at you. Can't see my face here. Like,
I can't see your
is it like if a customer acts real nice and they're getting on the good side with the waiter, are there things that waiter, is there a hidden room with some hidden things, some hidden benefits that we get if depending on the type of server we get and depending on how you know what I'm saying? Like somebody coming up to me or a waitress coming up to me and I say the right thing at the right time and I'll give her exudes of gratitude. Do I get into an inner circle with her? Like is that a thing?
Yes. Yes, of course you do.
It
You
is?
got
Okay.
they've got their favorites. They've got their I
Okay.
had one guest that I really like them. Nobody, all the other managers, they would drive them crazy, but they'd come in and they never had a reservation and they were always coming in at the most busiest time. And I liked them. I wanted to give them, and I would every time just be like, yeah, I can make it happen. And I'd squeeze them in, and they were just always, and it was like when we're there at the door and we're saying no to everyone, everyone else, and they just kind of look at me and I'm like, I gotcha. Don't worry, I'll get you in.
Oh, that's dope.
It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that you get to do for people.
So give me the playbook here. I'm on the other side of the spectrum here. Um, what puts me in that category where I'm becoming a VIP, a low key VIP with whoever I'm in front of. What would be your game plan? Because you would know out of all people. Is if I was sitting at a regular restaurant and I needed to, and I wanted to create the scenario where I'm at the favor of the person. What would be a way to do that? Is this being manipulative? Maybe not. I mean, like would I need to offer like incentive? Like would I present an incentive up front where I'd be like, look, if I get great customer service, wink, wink, there's like $100 tip waiting on you. Like does money incentivize? Of course it does in the industry, right?
Of course it does. That's not even a question. I think what incentivize that I see happen too is just where there's this honest relationship of, like some people are like, I'm going to be a little bit picky, but I'm going to leave you a good tip, that kind of thing where you're kind of already prepping them for, this is what I'm looking for. And not necessarily, it's building a relationship, it's not quid pro quo, but just like, hey, we're celebrating something, where you're offering them a chance to show up. I think that right there, people want to show up for other people. They don't want to be like, oh, and unfortunately, I had one host that every time she would hear something like that, she would do the opposite. And I was like, that's kind of sociopathic. Like there's something wrong with that. How do you, when you hear that someone is celebrating something and your goal is to make their experience worse, like, come on.
Yeah, who hurt you? Who hurt you?
Yeah, let's get you in a therapy, honey. You need some help. So if you want that kind of inner circle thing, give them an opportunity. Say something to them about, this is what's going on, and it hopefully sparks the idea of, oh, I can make their experience that much better.
Okay. Okay, so there's that maybe a pre-conversation. Is there anything else I could do? Come on, man. You got to give me some juice. Give the audience some juice.
No? Just come back, be consistent. Keep going back to the same spot. Build the same.
All right.
Write reviews too.
What's that?
I said write a review. That always helps too.
Okay, yeah. Okay. What about the reverse? How do I avoid not getting spit in my food? Like that's one of the things that concerns me. Like that's why I'm extremely nice to waiters and waitresses, because I'll be like, man, who knows? You know, there's like a movie where they were like low key spit. Who was that? That was with I think it was back in the days with Ryan Reynolds. I think it was one of his movies. Uh,
Ew.
and the dude was a pain in the butt, and they were low key spitting and doing all types of unnecessary stuff in the dude's food. It was like, oh, that just sends chills down my spine. So, question is,
Oh,
um, so question does it happen? First of all, you ain't gotta tell me the exact circumstances.
no, it does
No, it
not.
doesn't. You know,
It does not. No, we have so many show regulations right now. I mean, if
okay,
that happened, those people would be fired immediately.
okay, all right, okay. And
Yeah.
then the question is, okay, let's say it doesn't happen. Wink, wink. It doesn't happen. All right, the regulations. Why do I make sure that I'm not in that situation? I mean, because okay, let's say you don't get in that exact situation where they do something, but you know, this is a big world out here. The reason why there's rules and regulations because somebody broke the rules. And
Exactly.
even in my career profession, you know, as a mental health counselor, you know, we have a board, accountability board that holds us accountable. But that board is not in place. That board, the existence of the board does not prevent the rules from being broken. It's to help reinforce it when it in fact does be broken, because it's a numbers game. Like eventually there's going to be a therapist. You put enough therapists in one place at one time, somebody's going to do something unethical. It's just a numbers game. So I consider the same type of mechanics in any industry, right?
Yeah.
This is just reinforcing this is just me putting 2 foot down here. Like, look, there are people who are messing up out there. How do I make sure that I'm not in that situation where the waitress wants to spit in my food? Give me some recommendations as a hospitality expert.
Um, that's hard because I do have a lot of guests. Not a lot. I have had my fair share of guests where they're yelling at me, and you know, I know in the back of my mind, I'm like, thank God I got this person, because if you did this to someone else, you'd be getting them like an earful. It's just, I don't really know that there's a good answer for that, because a lot of people, when they get so enraged, like the one conversation that I'm thinking of right now, she was adamant that she was in the right, 100%. There was no way that she was wrong. And even to the point, like just yelling at me for 10 minutes, I mean, she wasn't berating me, but she was definitely yelling at me. And when I finally was able to solve the problem, and I had to gently let her know that it was actually it was her fault, she didn't apologize. She didn't own it. And so, you know, nothing. It was just like, I'm glad you fixed that. And so there are just some people out there that I think it's that lack of emotional intelligence on their part. And so training my staff to recognize that this isn't a reflection of them, it's really a reflection of the guest. And so I kind of find it unlikely that you're going to go in there and do that. Like I don't assume that you're going to go in and start ripping on your server or anything like that, especially if you're aware enough. But some people, they struggle with entitlement. They struggle with pride. They struggle with arrogance and assume that they're in the right, and they will go down fighting. And there's, I mean, nothing you can really do except just, okay.
Yeah, you know, I've been there a little bit. Like I had to, you know, like there was one situation I was out. I'm gonna put them under the bus there, because I was like, y'all excuse my French. I'm, you know, African American, so sometimes what comes out of my mouth is conspiracy theorist, man. Like I started thinking, oh, there's some racist behind the scenes that are really doing this on purpose. It's a bad habit, but it's just the paranoia of, you know, being, you know, coming from, you know, whatever, civil rights, you know, being a product of the civil rights movement. There's low-key paranoia in the background that with too many white people around, and there's something weird happening that you don't like, I wonder if they're doing it on purpose. It just lingers. I try to bypass it. It's an irrational belief. Anyways, I was out in Winterset. I'm gonna call him out. I was in Winterset. All right, this is the birthplace of John Wayne. I think John Wayne was a racist, for crying out loud. Anyways, I get too far down this race. What I do? Anyways, birthplace of John Wayne, right? The Winterset is the birthplace of John Wayne, right? I was at the McDonald's there. I'm gonna call him out there. This just between me and them, okay? Terrible hospitality. Okay, I was up there with my kids. This is probably about 2 or 3 years ago, and manager's probably long gone anyway. So it's probably not doing probably not damaging anybody's reputation. But I requested something. I thought I paid for it, and they said that I didn't order it, and I was heated, and I could have been wrong. I think that's how it went down. I'm probably messing up the storyline here. But long story short, I felt I was adamantly right. The manager comes out, was like, "Nope, we're not doing anything more extra for you." And I was heated. I mean, they caught me on the wrong day. I was not a therapist that day, and I wouldn't be surprised if I cussed back in the day. There, I could ask for forgiveness for Godfrey if I did, Lord. I definitely wasn't on my best behavior. But I think of those circumstances where the managers are like, "No, you are definitely wrong, and we are definitely not accommodating you." How could I have gotten a more favorable, a negotiable outcome? Part of it is what you're talking about, not allowing myself to get overly emotionally invested in it. But what could I have done to navigate the situation and create a negotiable circumstance? Because my first distinctive negotiable circumstance when you run into conflict like that is, let me talk to your manager. And then, and the worst thing you can hear is I am the manager. Like, yeah, I dog. Well, who's the boss?
Fair enough.
I know when people hear that, they say I am the manager. I know they just giggle on the back of their head. It's like, yes, you're talking to the boss. And I said no. They're loving it. Anyway.
Yeah, I know.
All right. So
I would be curious, because that to me sounds like, because I mean, nobody, again, in the industry, they don't want bad reviews. They don't want any of that. So I would be curious if it was more of a corporate issue, because we all have, limits or ability to, give them a free this, or, come back, get a coupon. We have those. Everyone does, because you, again, don't want a bad review. So my guess would be it was more on that side. If they're so stingent and so like they're digging in their heels too, it's probably because they're afraid of the consequences that they're going to get. Okay. And I had that actually happen at a restaurant. I had gotten it was a local steakhouse, and the steak wasn't great. So the manager at one steakhouse gave me a thing like, come in and get another one on us. And I was like, thank you. I appreciate that. So I went to the same restaurant, but in a different city, and they wouldn't honor it. They said, well, that one comes from corporate and we're a franchise. And I was like, really? You're not going to honor it? And they're like, nope. Like they were just like, no. And, just kind of like, I could have complained, or I could have, walked out and gone to a different restaurant. I was like, it's fine. We'll just pay. We'll just order. And so I was just kind of talking to the server to find out what was going on. And she was like, yeah, our GM got fired this morning. And I was like, oh, makes more sense. That's why your manager was afraid to honor this coupon, because she doesn't want to get fired next. So it's understanding both sides of that. But again, I'm in the industry, so I knew. I was like, there's something up, because why would you not honor a coupon that literally says your name on it just because you're franchise? Like, and because they didn't want to get in trouble. They didn't want to get fired too. And so I think when you take the time to really understand something, you find out the reason behind it. And then it just builds your capacity for empathy and awareness and grace, I think.
All right, now actually, based off of that answer, how you answered it, let me ask you a trick question. General question. All right.
Okay.
People are inherently good people. True or false?
I think so.
Okay.
I honestly do. And I know, because as a former pastor, the Bible verses, we all come in, we're all sinners, but that doesn't mean we're bad people. That just means in the Bible, and we've got this opportunity for forgiveness from, Jesus. But I honestly, truly believe that we are inherently good, and you see it in kids that haven't experienced trauma or, essentially trauma, and they start out with care, so I think a majority of us are inherently good.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I sort of figured that was your
That was gonna
overall
be my
framework.
answer.
Yeah, I sort of figured though. But it's good. It's good. It's good. Usually when you get asked that question, whether it be in an interview or on a resume, it's usually trying to see what's. I think this is how they do it. Usually when they ask that question, it's usually a reflection of what you have internally.
Oh,
You know what I'm
fair
saying?
enough.
Like they have these questions like, do you think people do you think people steal? Like I saw that like on a Best Buy question years ago. I'm like, oh, this is a trick question here. I'm like, no, people don't steal. I like what they're really trying to ask me low key is, do
Are you
I steal? Do I have a business? Do I think that is that a reflection of the inside out there? This answer. So I'd be lying my butt off, try to get that job back in the day. I feel like,
yeah, like I just never would have even put that together.
reverse psychology. Do you think everybody inherently is bad? If you say that, it means you probably have they're probably like grade that on the back of there. Like, okay, this is their norm. This is their norm. This is how they view the world. It is definitely from the outside in.
Yeah.
So, so anyway, good stuff. Tony, I'm not going to butcher any more of your time. I've already had malfunctions. You can't even see my face right now.
Yeah.
But this is nice. I like just casually talking about topics, particularly, it's a way for us to put our energy and positive energy out of the universe. I think it's a great way for you to send whatever message you were meant to send out to the universe. So that being said, as far as final commentary, what's something? Let's say you're speaking to a new audience. The audience hasn't met you. I think I've talked to you. Maybe is this going on number 4? Feel like it.
Yeah, I think so.
It might be still number 2 or 3.
I think 3.
It's 3. You are identified as an expert in hospitality. You preach a message of how those skills are transferable in any industry. So, what's a lasting message that you want to leave to the audience that's a reflection of who you are?
Reflection of who I am. I think my lasting message is there's really you really only get this one life, and I am proud. Like some people might be like, oh, you're just a restaurant manager. I am proud every day of what I get to do and the experiences that I get to curate for people and just put more love and kindness in the world. And I think that, what are you doing in your everyday life that you are just so absolutely proud of? And when you find it, just keep doing it. Just keep doing it.
Nice. Well, Joni, it's nice to see you again. We'll stay in network, of course. Joni, you have a book out there. Is there anything anywhere anybody can find you? You have a website that specifically points individuals to what you do, your speaking engagements and your books?
Yep, JoniWoods.com. And then you can find me on Instagram. I'm doing a lot of like little shorts from all the podcasts I've been on. Gosh,
Okay.
almost 40 podcasts now. So find me on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube.
Okay. All right. Well, ladies and gents, it was a pleasure talking with you, Joni. And we will talk to you soon. Again.
Okay.
Maybe.
Again.
If you let me. All right. Talk to you later. Bye now.
Bye.